Kokui. Welcome to my channel. I have a new video for you today. I'm back with another What's the Wahala AC episode, and today I have a very special guest. Her name is Felicia Stiles. She has a YouTube channel, a brand called the Femininity, which is almost at 100K subscribers. So welcome, Felicia, to my channel.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is so cool.
Yes.
It's like YouTube Inception.
I know.
I like it.
I love it. How are you today?
Good. Doing great. So excited to connect.
Yes.
After, going to SF State together.
Yeah.
And
We attended SF State together. We're in the same major too, right?
Yeah. Well, I was in comm.
Oh, Becca. So
Okay.
in the same realm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you also did some dance classes too, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's
Did
what I
dance.
thought. And I was like kind of a dance minor.
Me
And then
too.
once everything went down, like the protests and everything.
yeah.
Remember that with like them trying to get rid of the dance program? I was like, I don't have time for this. I'm
Yeah.
already on my 5th year. Like I need to graduate.
Yeah.
So I didn't end up getting the dance minor. But
Yeah.
I could have. Took all the courses.
Yeah.
Just got
same.
dramatic.
It was too much.
It
And
really
it's
was.
really hard to like even be a dance major too, because the classes, like, they don't give enough credit for it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you're doing so much work to get one credit.
Yes.
And I'm like,
I was like,
oh no. Yeah. Feminine Fancy. We are here because of this. Can you kind of give everybody a little gist of what Feminine Fancy is about? What's your channel, your brand, who you are?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, let me think. So actually, it was this month last year
Okay.
that I turned my YouTube channel, which was just like a hot mess hodgepodge of like cooking videos and travel, like me traveling, like a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah.
And decided to really hone in on a theme, a brand, things like that. And so it was this month last year.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. I know. It's so exciting. So it was this month that I posted my first kind of video in this realm. And yeah, it's been really fun. So I actually initially started the channel because it's kind of a crazy story, but I was living in LA.
Okay.
And I was pursuing acting. That was kind of like the path that I was on.
Yeah.
And I had been acting up here for many years. I'd been working as a commercial actress here for a really long time. And so when I graduated from SF State, my first thing was like, I'm going to LA. Like I had an agent in LA, and I was like, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna like make it happen in LA. And I went to LA. Not only did I hate it, but I also, every audition that I went on, they asked you, what was your social media following? And I was like, I don't have one. Like,
So now that's the requirement.
Yes. Yeah. So that now is a big part of like
Wow.
the industry is
That's crazy.
really important to know, what sort of influence that you can bring to a project, to a film.
But aren't they supposed to like develop you to get to that point?
Listen, none of it makes sense, okay? That's why we're here now, because
Okay.
I left LA. And so every time I would go, I'd be like, I don't have a social media following because, as we spoke about earlier, I'm not very tech savvy, and I didn't really like social media because I found that it made me really anxious, and I found that it made me even more competitive than I already am. And so I would like deactivate my Facebook, I would deactivate my Instagram for like months at a time and just be like, I'm done with this. So I didn't have a social media following. I had my personal Instagram page, which had like 800 followers. Like half of them I went to high school with,
Exactly. People you just come into contact with.
Exactly. Not like people who were like following my life. So I realized that after I left LA and I was like, okay, this isn't working for me anymore. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a plan. I'm gonna start a YouTube channel and I'm going to, go back with this following in tow that I'm gonna get from this YouTube channel, and it's just gonna come overnight. And that was my thought process. So this was in 2018, and so I came to the Bay Area, started my channel, and I was also working quite a bit up here in commercials. Like I was still booking work up here. It just wasn't happening in LA.
Yeah.
So I would randomly be like, Mom, come on, we're going to Napa, and I'm gonna make a video about the wineries in Napa. This is a legit, this is a legit video that is not public on my channel.
Okay, but it was there.
it was there. And I had this series called Follow Felicia.
Okay.
And which, by the way, the pronunciation of my name varies depending on who I'm talking to. So I don't want anyone to think she introduces herself as Felicia and she said Felicia. It's a long story, but basically I don't care either.
Okay.
But yeah, so I would make these random videos and be like, welcome to Follow Felicia. Like today we're in Santa Cruz. With no prompting, no one told me to do
I think I've seen a couple.
Oh yeah. And let's be clear, actually, I loved that series. I had so much fun with it.
It's the things that people don't really engage with that you love the most. And
yes, it's so true. Which is a whole other thing. I was talking about with the vlogs that nobody watches.
I love doing vlogs too.
Yeah. And it's okay, fine, you don't care about my life? Fine. So yeah, I was making those random videos, and I didn't really particularly understand how YouTube worked.
Okay.
I didn't get it. So I would just thought that I could make these random videos and it would just I would just get this following. You know, it made sense to me.
Yeah. I
had no idea about social media and growth and search engine optimization, all these things. So I was making these videos, nothing was really happening, and at the same time I was working in the city. So while I was at my job, which I hated, by the way.
Oh my
God. It was awful. It was painful.
Yeah.
While I was there, I'd be passing the time by thinking up new video ideas that I could do. And so that year went by, so that was 2018, me kind of just stumbling about, just kind of figuring out what's happening. 2019 rolls around, I'm still kind of not really sure what's going on, making spring cleaning video, random videos. And then around the fall of 2019, I came across a YouTube channel that I won't say the name of because it has some controversy around it now. But but I came across this channel, and it was this woman, and it was a white woman, and she was talking about femininity, and she was talking about all of these things that I have always been interested in. At my core, I have always wanted to be Martha Stewart. Or, for my Desperate Housewives lovers, Brie Vandekamp. I've always wanted to be that, stay-at-home mom with the apron and, PTA meetings all the way. That's always been my dream. And here was this woman
basically saying it could happen.
Yes, talking about it and showing her life. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And shortly thereafter, I started to get weird vibes from that channel. But I was like, she's kind of the representation for, sure, everyone. But for girls that look like her. Right? And in that moment, a light bulb went off. And I was like, wait a minute. I can do the same thing for girls that look like me. And I just had this, moment of, this is what I'm going to do. And I, went full force, planning out things to talk about. And the thing that separated myself from her is the fact that I'm black, and also the fact that I had a very specific thing to talk about. I could talk about being a black girl and a black woman and the experience of not feeling desired, of going to a predominantly white school and not getting asked out on dates, and I could talk about this stuff and I could relate it back to well, how did that impact my femininity? How did that make me feel? And what did I do to get over that? Because that sucked. What did I, how did I sort of work through that? And I made a video in either this month or early December of last year called Femininity for Black Women, and I just let it all out. And I just talked about everything having to do with I went to these predominantly white schools and no one cared about me. No one asked me out. I have friends who are married to their high school sweetheart from this high school we went to, and that was not my experience. And I laid it all out in this video, and I was just this is what happened to me, and I wanted to be a voice for the girls who were also experiencing that. And I wanted to kind of tell them you're not alone in this. Like, this is a real thing, and like, don't think that you're crazy for like liking the things you like, or you know, for having certain standards or certain morals, or not behaving in a certain way. Like, you don't have to fall into whatever the stereotype is that has been placed on you. You know, because it most of the time the ways in which people perceive Black women in particular is based off of like their own ideas. You know, it's not necessarily an individualized thing. So I just like laid it all out.
People can have, you know, be the rock person, be the, you know, the classy girl, the, you know,
exactly. Everyone's
they can have be in different realms.
Exactly.
But
we
are
put in one category. And I talked on that video about being at a wedding and having the bride, who's a very close friend of mine, having her brother say to me, you know, well, what's dating like for you? Because, like, you know, you're not like other Black girls. And I was like, excuse me? what does that mean? And then he's like, you know, you're just like, you're so elegant and all. And I was like, okay, well, there are plenty, honey. Like, there are plenty Black women just like me. And just because you don't know any doesn't mean that they don't exist. And
or even the ones that don't act like you, but they still like there's the dating is just different. People like different things.
Exactly.
It's like
you can't box people in. But yeah, so I just started talking about that, and I think that it really resonated with a lot of people, and a lot of women saw themselves in me. And I've had so many young girls be like, oh my gosh, like, I'm going through this, like, I go to an all-white school and I feel so different, like, it sucks, like, you know. And I've had girls email me and be like, thank you so much for like speaking about this. And so the channel has kind of like taken on a life of its own, and has completely turned into like me being this sort of face for this movement, essentially, of Black women being like, no, we're pretty too. Like, we're delicate too. You know, we're elegant too. And that's okay. And we should be afforded the ability to kind of like sit back in that.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's the feminine fancy.
Yes. in a small bubble.
In a nutshell. God, I wish I knew how to like keep things concise.
Okay. I don't either. I could go on and on. So when did feminine etiquette become important to you? Is this something that has always been a part of your life, or did you kind of like find your interest in it?
You know, I grew up doing pageants. I did my first pageant when I was 9 years old. So I was basically a toddler in a tiara. And along with that came the sort of like, this is how you sit, this is how you stand, like push your shoulders back, you know, when you're speaking to someone, like, this is what you should do, kind of thing. So I started at a very young age, understanding etiquette through that lens. And then just kind of allowed it to take over my body as I grew up and matured, and and it's just been something that I've always really liked and really enjoyed. You know, I would never call myself like an etiquette coach or anything like that. There are like legitimate etiquette coaches who like go to not school, but they get like certificates in this, and they like teach you, you know, which side the fork goes on and things like that. And that is not what I ever claimed to be. I'm just someone who thinks that the way that you present yourself is very important. You know, like, regardless of who you are. Like, the thing about it is that, like, even if we don't want this to be the case, everyone's going to make judgments about everyone on, like, immediately. So, you know, it's, for me, I think it's really important to make a good first impression. My mom would always say, you don't have a second chance to make a good first impression. So I kind of always think about that and think about, like, okay, well, how do I want people to perceive me? Not in the sense of, like, I care what people think, but just from a place of, like, am I being authentic to myself? And am I showcasing that in a way that's, like, respectful? So
with Femininity, sometimes that you talked about the woman that you first started watching
Yes.
how
Yeah.
she kind of went in a problematic way. So how do you steer away from, like, you know, because femininity can sometimes be put into, oh, this is how I'm going to, you know, carry myself to just, like, get a man or whatever. So how do you steer away from it getting to, like, that problematic place?
Well, I make it very clear on my channel that, like, that's not what we're here for, you know? And I even have a video that's called, like, Femininity is not about men or something.
Right there.
Yeah, because I wanted to be crystal clear that, like, that is not the purpose. I really look at femininity as just as women recognizing how important we are and like how amazing we are. And I think like there's this weird dichotomy, I guess you could say, in society of like not valuing women in some respects, but then like overvaluing, not over, but I think of like over-sexualization of women, for example. So in some respects, it's like, oh wow, women. And then in some respects, it's like, oh no, like you're not good enough to get paid like what I get paid, you know? So it's really important for me to make the message clear that the purpose of femininity is just for you as a woman to recognize, like, without you, this world stops.
Amen.
You know? Like, without your existence and your female reproductive organs, nothing happens.
Yes.
You know? Like, that is just...
That's power.
It's power. And it's like, wait a minute, why does no one talk about this?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think, like, it's hard because, yes, femininity can have this very superficial outer layer of, like, oh, dresses and, like, running through fields of flowers. And that's lovely.
Yes,
you know, who doesn't love a good dress?
Right.
But at the same time, you know, I kind of tend to be the kind of person who, like, likes to go deeper. And I, like, I'm an overthinker and I spend way too much time thinking and, you know, like, trying to like get to the root of things. And so for me it's like, okay, it's much more than that. And if you happen to meet someone on your journey, that's awesome. Like that's exactly, like if that's what you want, then sure, I want that for you. But at the same time, like
that's not the goal.
No, that's not the goal. And it's also not it's not going to be true for everyone. You know, and I don't want anyone to feel excluded from the conversation. If you're a woman who like never had the desire to have kids, I don't want you to feel like you can't be feminine. Or if you're a woman who never desired to get married or you don't want that for your life, I don't want you to feel like you're not a part of this. Because for me, it's just like, it's not about those sort of more superficial things. It's about just recognizing your own beauty and your own like the simple fact that like you are necessary to society in a variety of ways. And I think that like that is where I come from. And that's like a very fundamental belief that I have. To be fair, like there are women who want a significant other and they want to find out how to achieve one, you know, get one. And I get that. Like, we're not really designed to be alone in life, so I understand that. But for me, you know, it's two separate things. Like, femininity is one thing that is fun and that is, like, something that you can kind of delve deeper into. And then dating in a relationship is a little bit different. Like, that's something different. And, sure, the two kind of get boxed in together, but I think that they're two separate
and you
things.
have specific videos too. I've seen that you talk about dating with femininity and stuff like that. So you know, for those that are interested in doing that, they can watch those type of videos.
Right, and then for those who aren't, like, you don't have to watch it. You know? Although people on YouTube will like watch things
whatever
that they don't like and then comment whatever.
Or they'll watch things that doesn't pertain to them at all too. And just will watch them. And, I was doing that the other day. I watch Shan Boodram and she's pregnant now.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love all her like pregnancy stuff. And so
it's like you're not
nowhere near being pregnant. So will you be staying on YouTube or will you be expanding it to different platforms?
You know, I don't think that like I really have a say in
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
I am going to continue to make content for
Okay.
as long as my heart desires.
Yeah.
If there comes a point where my heart does not desire it anymore, then I imagine I would stop.
Okay.
As far as expanding to other platforms, again, I don't think that that's something that I really have much control over. I think that's a thing where, like, you know, and the thing is like, I mean, I'm a hair away from 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Like, there are people on YouTube
same.
with like 16 million. You know, like,
Yeah.
there's a lot. And I think, and not to downgrade my accomplishment in any way, but I think like the people who get like approached by, you know, some like a TV network or something, I would imagine have a larger following.
Yeah.
If that's to come down the pipeline, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But right now, yeah, I'm just gonna keep making YouTube videos. I like it, I enjoy it, and I do think that it is important for Black women and younger Black women in particular, to see representation for themselves of someone who, you know, they resonate with, and you know, I think that's important. So as long as that's still the heart of the channel, then I will continue.
Yeah. So through building your brand, you've created ebooks.
Yes.
And so, do you want to kind of explain what you have out already, and maybe one that's to come?
Yes. You know, and it's so funny because all of this really started taking off, for lack of a better term, during COVID. Like, during this period of time when I've just been at home with nothing to do but create things. So that's actually been a huge blessing for me. And it's funny because, like, as I started building the brand, it's just so funny to even call it that.
I know. It is the brand.
Yeah, it's just so weird. As I started building it and monetizing it, I started thinking about, like, the different ways that I could help people, and the different ways that I could, like, have a little bit more personal connection with people. And so I thought, I was like, okay, why don't I try to make like an ebook, you know? Why not? And so I went on YouTube and I looked up how to make an ebook. And I made my first ebook, which is on etiquette, hair and makeup, style, and dating. And that one did really well, and it got lots of sales, and people really liked it, and that was really awesome. And so that one's more like all-encompassing, of kind of like little, just like a overview of each, you know, of each thing. Obviously, you could like make a book on each individual section. And then I did a second ebook, which is my Divine Deep Dive workbook, which I basically created because I was seeing a lot of comments on my videos from women talking about like their own struggles with like anxiety, mental health, like a lot of people who come from households where they didn't have a mom. I still get comments from people saying like, I don't have a relationship with my mom, like thank you for, you know, talking about these topics and things like that. And so I was like, I think it would be really good for people to be able to address some like underlying things that maybe they haven't thought about. And I am a journaler. Like, I have kept a diary since, I'm not kidding, kindergarten. I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. I have my diaries dating all the way back to, I think the first one is like 1997, and I'm like writing, and I'm like misspelling everything because I don't know how to spell because I'm 6.
Well, you also get to see the progression.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's like, thank God I learned how to spell. And yeah, so I have journals going so far back, and I've always loved to write, and I love to get my thoughts out. And so I thought, okay, well, it might be a good idea to create something where my followers can do that for themselves as well. So I created the Divine Deep Dive, which is different to the first one because it's actually fillable. So you can just like type in your answers on the computer and you don't have to print it out because some people don't have a printer.
Yeah.
And there's just questions about like, you know, what would you tell your nine-year-old self? Like, what was the image of a relationship between a man and a woman in your home, in your home growing up, or like what was your parents' relationship, or the people who raised you? You know, like what were, you know, some of the things that you dealt with, you know, or that you have buried and things like that. And so it kind of asks like deeper questions, but questions that I think are necessary on really any life journey. Yeah, to really think about like, oh, maybe that's where that comes from, or that's where that insecurity comes from. Because I think we have a tendency to kind of just like block stuff out and not address it. And I think that like it comes up in places that we don't want it to come up. Like it comes up in like our relationships, and here you are like arguing with your partner about something and you don't even know why you're upset, you know? You know?
Sometimes it's just like, why am I still going on about this?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I made the second ebook. And then I have one coming out this month. It's supposed to be coming out this month. We'll see if it actually does. I think so. I think I'll make it happen. And that's just a fun holiday ebook. It's called Holiday Elegance, the classic woman's guide to a seamless holiday season. And I thought about that because I know the holidays are really stressful. They can be very stressful. And I think that like when I envision how I would like to be once I'm like married and I have my own home and whatever, and I'm like hosting my family, is like I would like to be calm. You know, I would like to sort of have it together. And things like that. So I have this image of like, okay, this is the ideal way in which I would like to experience this in hopefully a few years. And also I kind of took from my mom and watching her deal with it, although she tends to be a little bit more frazzled than I am. Which is hard to believe because I'm quite frazzled. But she tends to be a little bit more frazzled. But I have learned a lot from her. Things like, you know, if you have overnight guests, like leaving a gift basket on their bed, you know, making sure that they have like fresh towels on the bed and like, you know, whatever, just making them feel comfortable. Because there's nothing worse than feeling uncomfortable when you go to visit someone and feeling like you're imposing. You don't want that. So that ebook has a lot of that stuff about preparation and you know, we're going to talk about style, we're going to talk about, you know, etiquette and things like that in that book as well. So I'm hopeful that it'll be out before Thanksgiving, but if not, it'll probably be out like right after Thanksgiving.
If it's already out, it should say it right here, or if we have the date, then it should say it right here, or coming soon. On top of all of your ebooks, a little birdie told me that you may have a book coming out.
I know. Isn't that the craziest thing you've ever heard? Because it's the craziest thing that I've ever heard. So still crazy. How did this even happen? Okay, let me preface.
Okay.
I didn't ever think about creating an actual book about this. You know, like that was never on my radar. And I was actually at a shoot. So my boyfriend, he does video production and like he produces and stuff. And he was doing a shoot for this other company and asked me to come help. And so I was like, I don't want to. Like, I don't, you know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't really feel like going. He was like, please come, please come. I was like, fine. So I went and, you know, helped him out with the shoot and everything. We kind of tag team on projects sometimes. And one of the people that was there is a book editor and a book agent. And I did not know that the whole time. And she did not know anything about me. And we were just like talking like girlfriends, you know, just kind of discussing her love life. And, you know, I was doing my little like therapist thing. And so, you know, we all kind of like bonded a little bit, and so we exchanged information.
Mm-hmm.
She then saw my Instagram and saw my
Oh.
YouTube, and then reached out to me and was like, oh my gosh, like,
Yeah.
we should work together. So I'm now working with her
Nice.
to turn it into like a coffee table style book, and I can just see my Martha Stewart dreams.
Yes. Slowly
manifesting.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. So that's a whole process that I have
Mhm.
not ever, like, I don't know anything
Yeah.
about. So she's like,
Mhm.
we're gonna do like this for your book proposal, and like, and then you have to make a mock-up, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have to do what?
But that's exciting.
It is,
Yeah.
it is, and I can't even imagine like what it would feel like to like hold a book
Yeah.
of
Oh
my
my
creation,
goodness.
you know?
Yeah.
In my hands, like that would be so cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's happening too, although, I mean, God knows when,
When,
you know?
yeah. But you can follow the Feminine Fancy, right?
Yes.
The Feminine Fancy to
Keep updated.
Yes.
Yeah, my Instagram is at, this is a funny story too. My Instagram is @_ the feminine fancy _.
So what advice would you give to someone that's like starting on YouTube and they don't know where to go and how to like really build up their brand?
I think my biggest advice would be to do the research.
Yeah.
Like, do the homework,
Mhm.
because, you know, in the months sort of leading up to my channel, or my
Mhm.
channel kind of turning into what it is, I was doing a lot of research.
Mhm.
I was watching countless videos
Mhm.
on YouTube algorithms,
Yeah.
and how to build your channel,
Mhm.
and how to build a brand, like how long to make your videos. Like, I was doing so much, and I was reading a lot,
Mhm.
and I think that helped,
Yeah.
because I think, unfortunately, I think we live in a society where people think that things come like that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
as soon as you put it out
soon as you
there.
put it out there.
Yeah.
And I am guilty of it.
Me too. I'm very
I'm-
impatient.
Yes, I'm guilty of this. I'm like, oh, you guys want an Insta following? I'll get you an Insta following. No, I won't, actually. That's not gonna happen. And so because of that, because of this like
Mhm.
quick sort of like instant gratification society,
Yeah.
no one really does the work, and no one
Mhm.
really does the homework. And granted, I recognize that I was very lucky in the
Yeah.
sense that like I started with a theme that
Mhm.
was very popular
Yes.
at a certain time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of times people don't really do the research.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't take the time to like educate themselves,
Mhm.
because like the odds
Yeah.
of you making, you know, one video, 10 videos
Mm-hmm.
in the sea of millions of videos
Yeah.
on this platform,
Mhm.
and having that just take off, like, I feel very grateful
Yeah.
that I just sort of happened to capture something at the time that I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, do the research.
Yeah, I say the same thing. It's like you have to love it, because you're gonna put in a lot of work.
Yeah, for a
And-
lot of nothing.
Yes.
I mean, initially,
Yeah.
for a lot of work for not much reward. You have to be like comfortable enough to sit in your room and talk to a camera
Yes.
as if there are people there.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
and there's just a lot. But I think,
Behind it,
yeah. But I think, doing the research
Mhm.
and really enjoying it yourself and
Mhm.
enjoying what you're talking about makes a huge difference.
So, last kind of question before we get into a small little game.
A game?
Yes, just a small one. But for those joining your channel for the first time, what would you say is like your stamp mark video of like, okay, maybe this is where you kind of should start, and then
It's really hard. That's
I know.
really hard. Because I've been putting out 3 videos a week since
Yeah.
December of 2019.
Yeah.
Or no, since November of 2019.
Oh wow.
Where should you start? You know, I've got playlists. So whatever you're interested in, I guess, check out the playlist, because whatever you're interested in will be on a playlist of some sort. So if you're more interested in dating and relationships, there's a playlist for that.
Okay.
If you're more interested in, like, I talk a lot about, like, you know, just generalized life advice for women and for girls, you can start with that. I have a playlist for that. And then, of course, I have vlogs, which no one watches.
Be interested in her life. She got a lot going on. Come on, y'all.
No, it's fine. Yeah, everything is on a playlist.
Okay.
So, like I have a femininity playlist. So if you're more interested in, like, the femininity aspect of the channel and of the brand, you can start there, and like everything having to do with that, with femininity, will be on that playlist. Not necessarily in chronological order, but, like, you know,
It's there. Yeah.
pick what you want first.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm scared.
No. The game is not bad.
I'm really
so
scared.
first, there's two parts to it. So we're gonna do a this or that, and you just pick, like, see, you just pick which one you would rather.
It's like Ellen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So first, a slayed face or a bare face?
Bare face.
Bare
All day.
face.
Yeah. I do
Yeah.
not. Oh gosh. You know, the only reason why I wear makeup, the biggest reason why I wear makeup, is because I have, like, dark spots, like blemishes. If I didn't, I mean, I'm sure everybody feels this way, but if I had, like, glistening skin with not a single blemish, I would probably never wear makeup, because it's just, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to look, again, I like to look presentable, but I much prefer no makeup.
Yes. Yeah.
In my daily life.
Me too.
On videos, I don't really have a choice, because if I wore no makeup on videos, my goodness gracious, half the time, like, one of my eyebrows is way shorter than the other. So, like, I can't get away with not wearing eyebrow stuff, whatever. Yeah. But if I had two full eyebrows, no makeup all the way.
Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Christmas!
Yeah.
I love Christmas so much.
I'm a Thanksgiving girl.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Thanksgiving's fine.
Yes.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Great food. What it stands for, I don't know. That's necessarily
the best.
ideal.
Yeah.
But I do like Thanksgiving. Don't get me wrong. I love Thanksgiving. But Christmas?
It's
oh my
just
gosh,
magical.
the lights.
Yes.
The snow, not here, but, like, in other places.
Not here.
In Tahoe.
Yeah.
You know, the Christmas trees, the wrapping paper, the smell
there's
of
something
pine.
different about
that. It's so cozy and like warm. It warms you. At least it warms me on the inside. It makes me so happy.
I love it.
Plus, Hallmark movies start. First off, Christmas in July was a thing on Hallmark this year, and that was amazing. And then also, they started their Christmas movies, like, at the beginning of November. So I'm like, this is
why
great.
I like November, because it's like the start of the whole holiday season.
Hey, okay. I understand. I understand, but there's just nothing like Christmas.
Okay. Movies or music?
Movies.
Movies?
Yeah.
Okay. Me too.
I love movies. I'm the only reason why I know any new music is because, like, I rely on my best friend and my brother to show me. You know, like, I'm not gonna
go out.
I'm not gonna go. No. But I will watch, like, new independent films on Netflix all the time. Yeah. So movies.
Okay, last one.
Okay.
Perfume or candles?
Candles.
Okay.
Candles, because I worry about the toxins in perfume, and I have actually recently started looking into non-toxic perfume brands, which do exist.
Oh, nice.
But I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
I love to smell good.
Yes.
But what I've been doing lately is using essential oils.
Oh, okay.
So I use, like, rose or geranium or lavender, and just, like, dab it behind. And, you know, that way you still smell good without, like, poisoning your body. And honestly, the same could be said for candles, because a lot of times they're not like the best. But as far as what I'm going to spend my money on, I will drop a lot at Bath and Body Works on candles before I do on like sprays.
Yeah. Okay, so we're moving on to the second part of the game. You're still gonna like it. You're still gonna like it. Okay. This one is the first word that comes to your mind.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. Okay. Femininity. I'll also say you could say a statement because the last person I interviewed did statements, so I'm like, okay. A word or a statement.
The first word that comes to mind is women.
Okay. Yeah, that works. Dresses.
The best. I love dresses so much.
Yeah.
They're so fun.
Yeah, they're great.
I remember in high school. So we actually had to wear skirts every day because I went to Catholic high school. There were pants, but the skirt's cuter.
Yeah.
And on free dress days, there was like one free dress day in particular that I was wearing a dress, and my friend was like, "Why are you wearing a dress?" And I was like,
free dress day.
"It is. It's comfortable." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so uncomfortable in dresses. I love like jeans." And I was like, No. Jeans are too restricting.
I hate pants.
I hate pants too. Yeah. Finally, someone else who feels this way. I hate pants like so much.
Yeah. The pants that I love are sweatpants. Like I could live in sweatpants for sure, but if I didn't have to wear pants, I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, agreed. 100% agreed. That's another reason why. This is gonna sound so bad. That's another reason why, like, when I had my job in the city, I was so miserable because I had to wear pants every day, and I had to wear work pants. Yeah. And I was like, not only is this not cute, but like, it's not comfortable.
Yeah. 2021.
Hopefully better than 2020.
Yes.
That's my statement.
Yes. That's what I'm hoping for too. Yeah. And lastly, Felicia. This one is always hard for people.
Because you only have one word to describe myself.
Yes.
Trying her best. I think that's it.
Okay.
I'm just trying my best.
Yeah. You're doing a great job at it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for coming onto my channel. I hope you guys got to know what the Feminine Fancy is all about, and check her out. Check out her channel, her ebooks, everything coming on.
So, as we mentioned, you can find me on Instagram at _Feminine Fancy _
Yes.
And on YouTube, just The Feminine Fancy. Just type that in. And on my website at thefemininefancy.com.
Yes.
Everything's pretty cohesive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. You guys don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, all that jazz. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.